We now welcome the 1969-1970 varsity football team. The 1969-1970 undefeated 9-0 Pirate football team under head coach Bill Novak won the NCIC Northeast title as well as the Lockport Invitational football tournament with 2 shutout victories. This Pirate team was ranked 8th in the state of Illinois by the Champaign News-Gazette. They averaged 40.6 points per game, allowing just 6.1 points for opponents. Over the course of the 9-game regular season, they defeated Morris 21-16, Mendota 34-8, LaSalle-Peru 28-22, Dixon 24-6, Streator 40-0, Kewanee 64-8, Sterling 42-8, Rochelle 58-0, Ottawa Marquette 54-6. In the Lockport Invitational football tournament, they defeated Lockport West 14-0 and Rich Central 12-0. Wally Kistenfeger was selected to the Chicago Daily News and the Rockford Morning Star All-State team as a quarterback. Kistenfeger was one of 7 Pirates named All-Conference. All other All-Conference players were Tom Colborn, Mike Hoskinson, Jack Myers, John Meling, Colen Willis, and Dave Crews Burman. Willis was voted the team MVP and was co-captain along with Hoskinson. Hoskinson was the leading scorer and rusher, scoring 11 touchdowns and rushing for 666 yards. Kistenfeger passed for 1,109 yards and 13 touchdowns. Myers was the leading receiver with 26 catches for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here now to introduce the team and to talk more about this award-winning Hall of Fame inductee this evening is Colen Willis and Terry Gross.
Congratulations. You bet. I'm Terry. Colen will be up here in a second. Colen, we're holding up the show here between finishing this up and dinner, so we'll try to make it a little quicker. We'd like to congratulate all the 2024 OHS Foundation award winners, inductees. Congratulations to you. The 69 varsity football team is also very honored to be part of this Hall of Fame. And we'd like to say a special thank you to Sue McDonald, who coordinated this, and I was on the phone quite a bit with her back and forth, so you did a great job, Sue. Thank you. Unfortunately, we had 40 players on our football team and 4 coaches. And to start this off, it's not a positive note. It's unfortunate. We've got 12 players that aren't with us anymore, and all 4 coaches are deceased. And they're honored. They're with us tonight, either in spirit or with family members here or friends here. But it's pretty eye-opening when you've got 40 players and almost a third of the team is gone. But with that said, the era that we played in, 1969, 9-0. Joe Vignali was all worried about me yesterday. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? I said, how about 9-0? Enough said. Say a little bit more, though. That era, Mr. Vansel talked about it earlier when he stopped to talk to us. Probably from 1959 to 1972, Ottawa won about 106 football games, and we lost 7. And that's an unbelievable record. We're honored to be the last team in the 60s to be undefeated. I think these guys are phenomenal guys, just great people, but at that time, we didn't expect to be in the Hall of Fame. We didn't expect to go undefeated. We just looked at the next game as we're going to be playing LaSalle next week. Mr. Novak, 25-year coach. You know, a lot of these guys had nicknames, you know, Skeeter and Viggy and Colby and Aaron and, you know, just like any other team, Acom, everybody's got something. I'm Leo. I don't know where that came from, but Mr. Novak, and I checked with Holly ahead of time. It's okay. His nickname was Boom Boom. And so there's a lot of Boom Boom stories, but the long and the short of it, I'm not going there tonight. he got us excited for the games. They mentioned all the games that we played, and Morris was the first game that we played that year, and Morris historically is a great team. And I don't think we were doing real well at halftime, and Tom Melody and I usually were the last ones out of the locker room and the last ones to leave the field and to make sure everybody's getting in. So as we're walking up to the locker room at halftime, and I think we might have been losing at half, a couple guys ahead of us says, "You can't believe what's going on in the locker room. These guys, coaches are going crazy in there." I looked over at Mel. I said, "Mel, you think we better put our helmets back on?" He said, "Probably a good idea." Well, we came through. Defense came through. We won that game. Next game, we played pretty well. LaSalle-Peru was rated state-wise, as we were, and we were playing them over there. Knew it'd be a big crowd, and I think after the second game of the year, we never practiced on Saturdays. And Boom Boom had us come in on Saturday morning, and I think all of us realized it was a pretty serious situation. This is going to be a big game. And I think that whole week was probably the best practice, if I remember correctly, that we ever had. And Mr. Novak, I think, got us a little excited before the game. I don't know about you guys, but I think we could probably run through a wall for him at that night. I mean, we went out, we put it on him in the first half. Defense played extremely well the second half. We beat them. After that, I think our team just turned the corner. The best thing about it is the guys that didn't get to play a lot, the next 6 games got to play a lot. When you're up 4 or 5 touchdowns at halftime, everybody gets to play, and it's great. When you practice every week and you're not going to be able to get in the game because it's going to be a close game, it's not fun. These guys, it was fun. It was fun for everybody. Our practices probably were harder than the games. Mr. Novak, Boom Boom, he definitely made it interesting in practice. He definitely pushed us to the limit. Mr. Riley, phenomenal offensive coordinator, offensive coach. Mr. Nelson, you could never see him getting out of the ordinary. I mean, he was just even keel the whole time. If there was a problem, you go to Mr. Nelson, he'd get taken care of. Phenomenal coaches. Mr. Miller, same thing. During that period, when Ottawa football was really a dominant force around here, a lot of people would say, well, how come they were so good? And I'd have to say, in my opinion, I think the coaches, from Mr. Vansel talked about the freshman level and the sophomore level, all of these people were committed to Ottawa football and coaching and getting kids better. The foundation for Ottawa football and the fundamentals came from the coaches. A lot of these guys that are sitting back here were 2, 3, and 4 sport athletes. Today, it isn't out there. You get into one sport and you're stuck. You're playing basketball, you're playing football, and that's it. Back in those days, you got a chance to play basketball. You got a chance to play baseball after your season was over, and I think that was a big difference in it. I think our team was always confident. It wasn't cocky. It was always just a confident air about us when we went out on the field. And, if we needed 5 yards to get picked up, Hosky would get the ball, and we're up 5. Paul Vitoni would get the ball. We need, Wally would throw a pass. We need to stop him defensively. Colen, Hosky, Skeeter, the whole group, we'd get it taken care of. The fundamentals in practice made us a better team, and I think it carried forward the 25 years that Mr. Novak was the coach. I think kind of in closing here, what actually did our team learn from being an undefeated team, a winning team, a Hall of Fame team? And I, talked to everybody at different times in our lives, but just recently, and I think the success that we had as husbands, as fathers, as grandfathers, as business people, doctors, teachers, whatever line of work we were in, I think a lot of it came back to that 9-0 football team. The fundamentals, the basic, the discipline that we had to go through to get where we were, I think made us all better people. Discipline, I think, was the word that, I would have to say, Mr. Novak instilled in us. And, you know, talking to everybody at different times in our lives, but just recently, and I think the success that we had as husbands, as grandfathers, as business people, doctors, teachers, whatever line of work we were in, I think a lot of it came back to that 9-0 football team. The fundamentals, the basic, the discipline that we had to go through to get where we were, I think made us all better people. Discipline, I think, was the word that, I would have to say, Mr. Novak instilled in us. And, that was probably why, in my opinion, we were 9-0. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm Colen Willis, and I'm going to kind of stand this way because I want to talk to the team as I share a few comments as well. Carl and I were driving here from Colorado Springs, and I was thinking about what this means, this idea that we've been inducted into a high school Hall of Fame in just a little town in the Midwest. And I think one could walk away from that saying that's not a big deal. But I want to tell you, this is a really big deal. This means a lot to us. And I know on behalf of this team here, this football team, this really means a lot. But I also think that it speaks as much about the community as it does about any honoree on the team. This, for a community to take the time to highlight and just to honor its people is a big deal. And so I just want to thank everyone on the foundation and from the school for this honor. It's a big deal, and we really appreciate it. So I got a chance to spend some time with these guys. This is a football team that played 50 years ago. We haven't played football in 50 years. But I want to tell you something else. And all the stories I heard from Joey Vignali and Bob Reeby and this gang right here, we're 50 times better this year than we were then. We're really good now. I'm telling you. We're a great football team. So, hey, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to reflect on a few things real quick. I know I'm the last speaker, so just it's only going to be 3 hours, so don't get all hung up on this. And I'd like to just focus, as I've been thinking about this, so many things came to my mind about what this means in our lives, right? But I want to focus on some small things, some very small things. And because it was kind of this attention to detail and these things that I'm going to talk about, 5 of them, are kind of representative of those. So if you'll just bear with me, 5 quick things. Here they are. I want to talk about ankle wrapping, the huddle, the powder blue jerseys, the 722 trap, and American flags. Okay, so very quickly, let me just talk to you about those, and then I kind of want to explain what that all means in my life. First of all, ankle taping. I was a lineman. My coach was Mr. Ralph Nelson, one of the greatest men on earth ever. Just a great man. It was a ritual. We'd meet before the game and on the training table, and I think he probably did this I'm sure he did with the linemen. I'm not sure who else got their ankles wrapped. And I'm not sure it was about the ankle wrapping, because I wore these big old high-top boots in football, but he wrapped our ankles. And at the time, he would wrap our ankles perfectly, and he would talk to us, and he would look at us in the eye, and he'd say, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" We'd rehearse the plays a little bit, but more than anything, he said, "You're ready. Now go do it." And I absolutely loved that time with my coach. Didn't realize that at the time, what was going on, but it wasn't about wrapping my ankles. It was about checking in. Was I ready to go? I loved that. The huddle. Okay, I wasn't good enough to play quarterback. I didn't have the hands of Terry Gross or the speed of Tommy Colborn or kind of the toughness of Joey Vignali or Paul Vittoni, that gang. I was the center. They put me in the center of the line because that's about all I could do. So I was the center. And my job was simply to snap the ball and then to block. But I found out there's another job. The center gets to be the guy who sets the huddle, who gets to call, huddle up. And I thought that was more important than centering the ball. I love that part of the game. So I'd run after the play, I'd run over to the spot where I was supposed to be. I said, all right, huddle up. And everybody huddled up on me. It was great. I love the huddle. I love the huddle. And we would gather up. We would get shoulder to shoulder. We had this, and by the way, Holly, this was as important to your dad as any play in the game. I mean, it kind of set the stage. We were all to huddle up. We'd do it perfectly. We would run back to the huddle. We would run from the huddle, and we would do it. Was amazing. And this was important because it set the stage for the next play. We'd come back to the huddle. We'd pat each other. Dave DeWalt would pat me on the back and say, great job, or he would yell at me because I missed a block or whatever it was. And then we would reset, and Wally Kistenfeger would call a play, and we'd get back up there, and then after that I'd say, all right, huddle up again. And it was awesome. The huddle was really important. Number 3, powder blue jerseys. Do they still wear powder blue jerseys?
You're off and on, yes.
Off and on.
Right?
I wore my powder blue. I could never figure that out. They would say something about the crimson and white is marching. How's that go?
Crimson and white is marching on.
Yeah, we're crimson and white marching on, and we'd run out in powder blue jerseys.
There was a sale on powder blue.
But that was special. That was a big deal to me, to be able to, as a young boy, growing up, to play football and getting to wear a high school football jersey, my number on it, and I think it said Pirates on the front, didn't it? Say Pirates? Okay. Just remember that, because I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. Powder blue jerseys. The 7-22 trap. Okay, that's a football play. And all it really meant was we're going to run right up the middle. There was some unique blocking in all of that, but the 7-22 trap became our basic play. Everybody in the conference, everybody in the state that we played knew that we were going to run the 7-22 trap. It was quarterback, I snapped the ball, quarterback would turn around, hand to the fullback. There was some blocking going on, and we'd run right up the middle. And everybody knew that. But it became our basic play, and I loved the play because I felt like I was kind of a critical guy. I wanted to make that play happen. But it became the identity of our football team because it meant that we were coming at you. And it wasn't intricate, it wasn't complicated, it was simple, and we executed with utter passion. The 7-22 trap, remember that. American flags. The 1960s were a tough time. Those were some tough years in our nation, if you remember that. We'd gone through some assassinations. There was growing tension in the world. We were coming at the end of Vietnam. In fact, we were in the heavy part in the 66, 68 time frame in the Tet Offensive of Vietnam. It was a tough time, a very tough time. There was violence. There was it was a time of great disunity in our nation, right? There was a day when Coach Novak called some of the seniors in and said, we need to stand for something greater. And you know what he did? I don't know that I'd ever heard this. We may be the first to do that, but we got some American flag stickers and put them on our helmets. And on that time, we were standing for something greater than ourselves. Mr. Novak realized we were fortunate. He was a great man. He was an incredible coach. But I want to tell you what I loved about him. He was a patriot. He loved this nation. And he did not appreciate the things that were going on. He wanted to make a point to all of us on the team that this country is an incredible country. He loved that. So those are the 5 things I just want to talk about real quick again. Ankle tapings, the huddle, the powder blue jerseys, the 722 trap. You know, I do 2 things before I go to bed now. I pray and I rehearse the 722 trap. That's 50 years later. Now, I'm really good at that now, by the way. So I just want to tell you these things real quick from a different perspective. All those things were teaching us about football, right? But what I realized after 50 years that none of this was about football. It was about life. And I really appreciate that. Mr. Nelson wrapped my ankles because he cared for me. He taught me how to care for people. He taught all of us. Our coaches, from Mr. Novak, Mr. Riley, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Miller, they taught us how to care for people and to care for one another. They were great people. They were teachers. They were also great mentors. Can I tell you that Mr. Nelson became such an important person in my life? He checked on me for many years of my life. He even came to my daughter's wedding 35 years after we had graduated. So it was an incredible time then, and that meant a lot. He wrapped my ankles, but more than that, he cared for me and taught me in my life how to care for people. You see, it wasn't about football. It was about life. The huddle. The huddle taught me about teamwork. It made me realize as I stood shoulder to shoulder with Dave Burman and with Dave DeWalt and the linemen, and we're all huddled up we're huddled, we're tight. It taught me how much I need other people. Taught all of us that. We were huddled up with a mission, and we were going to accomplish it together. And I think it taught me that even today we need to huddle with each other. You know what we need more than anything is to just huddle up with our families. Call a huddle. Be the one who steps up and say, huddle up, family. We do that. It's the same with huddle up with our friends or huddle up with our coworkers. Huddling is a big deal. It's a great lesson I learned because you know what? It wasn't about football. That was a lesson about life. The powder blue jerseys. I still haven't figured out the powder blue jersey deal, but let me tell you what I do appreciate. I appreciated that none of us had our names on the back of our jerseys. Today I watch a lot of sports, and it seems to me it's all about the individual and who they are, right? Mr. Novak would not allow that. Mr. Novak realized we were all part of a team, and that taught me a real sense of humility, to be humble in that. My job was to serve everybody else. My job was to block for Tom Colborn. His job was to cover me in many cases. And I appreciated that. It wasn't about me, it was about the team. You see, this is not about football. This is about life. All right, the 722 trap. So what? It's just a football play. Well, let me tell you about that. That really taught me something about keep your life simple and execute it with utter passion. Design it to be simple and execute it well. Work hard at it. Find the toughest thing, focus your energy, focus your life, and go after it. Create an identity for you. It was for us, it became our identity, and identity is really important in life. Who you are matters. It creates the values you have. It sets the foundation for all of life. The 7-22 trap. You see, that's not about football. That's about life. And finally, the American flag. Mr. Novak was he was an absolute incredible coach and a great man. He was tough. He was strong. But you know what I loved about him? He had some convictions and he stood on them. And I love that. He was a great patriot. He showed us how to live above the common level of life. And I really appreciated that. He stood for the values of our nation, and he was not afraid to say that. You see this thing with the American flags and the stickers on the back of our helmets, that wasn't about football. That was about life. So I just end up by saying I want to thank all of these guys, and we're going to introduce them, if you don't mind, in just a minute. I think these guys are 70 years old. I'm going to ask them to stand, and they've been sitting for like 8 hours, so let's. But can you give these guys just a round of applause? And I just want to, I'm so thankful for this team, and I'm so thankful for this school. I think most of us on this team walked away realizing how great this experience was in our time at Ottawa High School. I love the game of football, to be honest with you. But I'm much more thankful for the enduring values that I gained from playing football for this school, because you see, it wasn't about football, it was about life. So thank you very much. Very quickly, I'm going to ask our guys to stand as I call our names. I'm going to just introduce the undefeated 1969-1970 football team. The head coach was Coach Bill Novak, deceased. Our line coach was Ralph Nelson. He's also deceased. Dean Riley was the offensive coordinator and our backs coach, deceased, and Larry Miller. Those were some great men, just incredible mentors for sure. Our manager was Bill Swenhaugen. I'm going to introduce the juniors first, if I might. Youngsters. They're only like 71. Mike Amick, would you stand? Mike here. Scott Anders, who's deceased. Dave Brickert. Dan Isles. Congratulations, Dan. Rick Honer. Gale Landers. Dennis Leamy. Don Leipold. Pat Melody, who's deceased. Rick Miller. Harry Nangle. Bob Nevin. Dick Reimers. Bob Reeby. Brad Riley. Steve Schaefer. Everett Smith, who's deceased. Rod Smith. Jim Townsend. Joe Willett, who's deceased, represented. Brad Young, who is deceased. And now our seniors as well. Dave Burman, not here. Jerry Charbonneau, Skeeter. Tom Colborn. Dave DeWalt. Dave DeWalt, what a great guy. Gene Duffy. Guy Gillette. Terry Gross. Rick Hornbeck. Mike Hoskinson, who is deceased, Wally Kistenfeger, who's deceased, Mark McConaughey, John Meling, who's deceased, Tom Melody, who's deceased, Jack Myers, son, Jack is deceased, Monte Monterastelli, deceased, Joey Vignali, and Paul Vittoni. Took them a while to stand up, but there they are. So once again, on behalf of the 1969-1970 Ottawa High School football team, thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so we are now going to close out this portion of our event. What I want to do right now is, can we just all give the inductees and their representatives that are here tonight on this stage, let's give them one last ovation.